Morning, we've just got up to this, it's snowing here in Tallinn. That car there on the left hand side is ours, so we parked that there last night and that's what it looks like now. So we've probably got that to dig out. We've seen people digging out all the time, so we had a look at the price of a shovel, and the price of a shovel here is 40 quid. So we'll see. It might be cheaper to hire somebody to dig it out. Anyway, we're off into Tallinn. We're not going to the communist prison today because it doesn't open till 2026. So we're going to give that one a miss. So we're actually on our way to a church first and then into the city centre. Morning, we've come to take a look at this particular church. It's the Church of Our Lady of Kazan, which seems very different. Another one of them with the onion on top. So she's here. They all seem to have these strange crosses on top. Notice that on the other one, on the other church as well. Anyway, wooden church. Looks like, I don't know what the dome's made out of. If it was copper it'd be green, so not really sure. But let's take a look inside. Let's do our feet before we go in. Let's well, we can't get into the church, it's locked, but I'm not really sure what this is for. And then, how about that for a brush? That's quite a cool brush. 40 quid for one of them. Unbelievable. And there's another look at the church. Shame it's closed, but oh no, well, I suppose it's the way it goes. Just in case you didn't know, that's the Estonian flag. Just come across these in this shop window. Not really sure what they are or who's made them, but they are really quite stylish. I think this one's a nativity type scene. Wow. Somebody's gone to a lot of effort for these. Very careful. This is St. Peter's and St. Paul's Cathedral. With a nice nativity scene. Take a look at that. Missing a few characters though. We're going to go back to St. Peter's, St. Paul's Church. Closed in a minute, it's not open for now. We're going to have a look in St. Nicholas Church. Let's take a look in here.
Yeah.
There's some tombstones here. They're from the Church of St. Catherine of Alexandria and belong to the members of the Magistrate of Tallinn, the Brotherhood of Blackheads. So these are the best preserved ones. Large tombstones. I suppose it's what you call a proper winter's day today. And we're off on our way now for an authentic Estonian meal, which I'll show you pictures of. In fact, I'll put part of it on the video when we get there. So, but just have to walk through this old part of town. So, underneath the arches. We're going to take a walk around some of the city walls later, so just up on there. But first, authentic Estonian lunch. That's the what would be the entrance to the old city, which is where we are. There's a quick video of the inside, so there you go, and I'll video the food when it turns up. It's quite busy. As you can see, there's a picture receipt, premier restaurants, McDonald's. Christine's got a wrap. Just going to show you what's in it, look. Which is chicken, lettuce. She don't have tomatoes. She's had that taken out. And I've got a big tasty and a latte coffee. We're in one of the towers, or just climb one of the towers up onto the wall. It's 14th century. Apparently it's been used as a prison, a weapons store, and obviously a defence. Very similar to Rothenburg in Germany. I suppose this is looking out from the city walls, looking at the modern city, and this is inside the old part of the town. The views of the churches, and you can see how cold it is with the icicles on the over the guttering. Looking down onto the shopping arcade area, and back along the, I suppose we'd call them a battlement. It is very, very similar to Rothenburg in Germany. The one in Rothenburg in Germany goes pretty much all the way around the town. I think this is about 200 metres long. There's another look down one of the streets up here on the battlements. Opens up a little bit here with a view over the modern part of the city. You can tell that with the skyscrapers. It's good. Not sure what all the ribbons are supposed to signify, but I suppose it's a bit similar to the locks on bridges. I think maybe. Let's take a look in here. Looks warmer. Not really sure what this is, but I think it's some form of torture they would have put people under, being as there's irons. Very strange. Climbing up inside one of the towers, so takes us a little bit higher. Now have a look up there. There were some big steps, those, to get us into the top of this tower. Some quite fantastic views. There's a view across the wall and the other tower. And there's our stairway down. The steps are massive. Okay, the tower is called Munkadetta Tower. Munkadetta Tower. Well, there you go. You want to have a go at trying to read it yourself? I think this is like a Russian embassy, and it has all this stuff outside.
So it's not great. Somebody's even hung an egg box there. You think that's because we've got a shortage of eggs? Oh, look at these. Some of the photos that are taken from Ukraine. Wow. Wow. We've just come down this street and we're here. KGB prison cells. So we're going to take a look in here, see what this is all about. It says, in 1945 I was detained by the KGB and pushed in order to betray my companions. Then I have decided I would rather die than become a traitor. I attempted to cut my veins with a shoelace, but did not start bleeding. While I was questioned in the custody and they started to beat me, I realised that it is fortunate that I did not kill myself. The pain may be suffered, but betrayal cannot. And that was by Ayn Kalip, poet and translator in Pagari, 1944-1945.
If you were a young, able-bodied man, not big of a problem as if you would.
The only fair thing was that was basically it didn't matter which country it was in, it was still like cheap.
Yeah, so
There is a dark, dwelling, unveiling shadow in the past of this noble house. If the walls of this house could speak, they would tell that terror that changed this house into a kind of monument of inhumanity. Nearly half a century ago, the headquarters of the People's Commissariat for Internal Affairs of the Estonian SSR, or the NKVD, later known as the KGB, was located at Pagari 1, and the cellars here were used as prison cells for many years, the most notorious cells of all in Estonia. Totalitarian and inhuman regimes eliminate their enemies ruthlessly. In the communist Soviet Union, not much was needed in order to become an enemy of the state. Simply a wrong word or an awkward glance could warrant being sent to prison or shot by these organisations. This house, with its prison cells and interrogation rooms on the upper floors, along with Section 58 of the Criminal Code of the Soviet Union, were the tools in the hands of the criminals in breaking the mental backbone of Estonian people, or rather their unsuccessful attempt to do so. The building has now returned to its initial purpose, a residential dwelling which has come full circle in opening this museum to close, so to have the essence. I mean, we think that at the end of 1918, in November, the war ended, but it did for us, but it didn't for Estonia. They had to continue on to fight the Russians until the 1920s, when they got their independence. Born on the 15th of August 1930, school pupils in Tallinn's 5th secondary school. She organised the production and distribution of anti-Soviet leaflets with her schoolmates. Together with the Allied Junkerson, she exploded the monument and dedicated the soldiers of the Red Army on Tansigma on the 8th of May 1946. Followed their example, symbols of Soviet rule were destroyed, also in Latvia and Tartu. And this is a Guy de Pavel. The War Tribunal sentenced the girls to 10 years in prison. Salman Noor, born 25th of December 1894, was a nursing sister in the Estonian War of Independence, later head of the Line District of the Women's Home Defence. Her husband was a police official and veteran of the Estonian War of Independence. Both were arrested in 1941. On April 24, 1942, on her son's birthday, Salman Noor was executed in Svaskas prison camp. Her husband has been executed 2 months earlier. Her son was sentenced to prison camp for 8 years. Ahto Talvi, born 26th of October 1924. In World War II, he fought with the Finnish Army from 1947. He was head of the Armed Resistance League in Java County. During his arrest, he shot dead a man called Sidorov, who was the security chief of Java County Security. He was kept in the Pagari cells for 10 months before he was sentenced to forced labour for 25 years on the 1st of December 1948. Hermas Ants, born as Ants Krugerland on the 20th of January 1917, was a member of the Defence League of the Interwar in Estonia, organised resistance and Forest Brothers movement. He became a legend. His achievements were widely discussed, but he was hard to capture for the Soviet authorities. He was arrested in 1949, sentenced to death and executed on March 13, 1951. Paul August Lille, born 5th of February 1893. After the Estonian War of Independence, he was assigned to the reserves for the post of battalion commander. In 1938 to 1940, he was head of the shooting department at the headquarters of the Defence League. In summer 1941, he organised resistance to the Soviet destruction battalions. After the end of World War II, he hid as a Forest Brother. He was arrested on the 28th of February 1950 and died in Bratsk prison camp on the 11th of August 1955. This is what would have been used as an interrogation cell, along with as a cell in its own right. You can still see some scratchings on the walls on some of the prisoners that were held there. In 1941, 10,000 men and women are deported from Estonia to Siberia, and in 1949, I think there's another 100,000 are deported. The communist regime monitored all aspects of the life of its subjects until the end of its existence in 1991. People know that they're being trapped, and any kind of non-conformism or anti-Sovietism, as it was called, could bring with it a sentence to a prison camp or special psychiatric hospital, or in milder cases, deprivation of all the meagre amenities that the Soviet state allowed its citizens, starting from the refusal of a permit to travel abroad up to exclusion from the new housing list. The secret police surveillance of Estonian society was managed from the upper floors of this building. Here's some of the cell doors, showing bits of films about people that were incarcerated here. The cells are quite small. In 1959, this was changed from being a prison, it became an archive room. The KGB were based here. This was the headquarters for Estonia. Climate cells of Pagari were used as a tool of the communist regime to threaten the general population. Here the most important persons arrested by the state security were held during their preliminary investigation. As a rule, there was no way out of this, as the inhumane regime did not know a fair investigation or trial. The Criminal Code of the Russian Federation, on the basis of which a preliminary investigation was conducted, contained dozens of sections that suited convicting anyone. The most notorious of these was Article 58. The judgment was final and was not subject to appeal, and the participation of defence counsels in proceedings was initially a rare exception. Nearly all who entered Pagari cells had to await prison camp or an execution chamber. In being presented with such a choice, the prison camp might have even seemed like a real escape. Also, no one knew how long they would have to spend in the Pagari cells. After the end of an investigation, the imprisoned person was usually taken to Patara prison to await judgment. Life was slightly better there in comparison with Pagari, and some who passed through Patara even referred to it as his health resort. Guido Kotzer stated, "Later I was taken to Pagari Street. There I was shown the torture permit signed by Boris Kuhn, security minister at the time. Torture by means of different tools like truncheons, whips, beating with fists, etc. started. The arsenal of tools was ample, as was the name-calling and threats. I lost my sense of time. I do not remember how long it lasted until the doctor prohibited the interrogation and threatened to bring the investigations to justice if I was tortured to death. An unheard of solution. Meanwhile, I was only half conscious. I had hallucinated and I saw ghosts like the devil himself and my own grave amongst other things." Similar cupboards were used from the 1940s through the 1980s by the USSR's organs of repression for the temporary isolation of prisoners in places of internment. This cupboard originates from this house. There were different cupboards in terms of proportions, both kinds in which the person was able to sit on a stool, as well as those which one could only occupy in a forced stood position or crouching position. Former political prisoner N. Tarto has recalled how he was held in the cupboard and was unable to sit, stand or lay down in the confined space. In the majority of cases, a captive imprisoned on Pagari Street was thrown into a dark closet next to the duty office immediately after registration, during which the person had been subject to the most crude and derisive behaviour in this closet. The person soon began to suffer from a shortage of air. Often an entire row of people sat in those cupboards, set side by side, barely able to hear each other through the walls. So they used this area and these rooms for solitary confinement, and nobody was allowed to speak at all. And even if they did speak or move their mouths, they were still told to shut up. The cell for solitary confinement. So, this was the main KGB office then, building for Estonia. Very unassuming. Right then, can you see the car? Believe it or not, that there is a car, and the only way you can tell is somebody's cleaned the mirror and a little bit where the glass is. It's parked on the side of the road as well. Okay, this is St Mary's. We've been to several churches and cathedrals today. Most of them have been shut. So we'll see if this one's open, and then once again there'll be no photographs or videos inside, so I think Christine's going to try and do her stealthy tactics. Well, at least we've got to video inside this one. But every country seems to have its own idea. That's a bit strange. All ready for Christmas? There's the organ. And this might be one of our final looks over Tallinn. This is from the top of the wall on another part. They're looking across the modern part of the city. I mean, this is one of the better places for a view. Really nice tree down there in the park. Very nice. And that was the church that we'd just been in, St Mary's. We had to come back for a Christmassy version of the armoured vehicle. So, just to show you again, now they've cleared some of the snow away. There's the machine gun. There's one on the opposite side as well. Very old vehicle. So, I think it's relates to their independence from Russia. And that's Joseph Pitka. That's the first time there's a light I've ever seen a Christmas tree halfway up a lamppost. We're just on our way back to our digs, and we've come across this, I suppose you'd call it an avenue of stars, lights. There you go, right the way down the street there. So, there you go, which is an avenue of starlights. How fantastic is that? I think we'll have to walk that for Christine. And there's another archway along here. So, to try and watch me footing as we work our way down to the... I suppose it's, if they call it, a tunnel of sparkling lights. And there's Christine. Here's a couple of snow ploughs that we saw earlier on in the day. There's one pushing the snow off the pavement, and in a moment you'll see one with a car. Well, it's a photo actually. What about that for a snow plough?